So for the relaxation portion of the program, it's really important to find the breath in the belly. And when we do that, we're going to also look at posture. So thinking about when you sit, whether you're at a computer or a desk during the day, driving around, carting your kids around, whatever the case might be, just really be cognizant of how it is that you sit. Because so many times we can crunch our shoulders or our chest or our bellies, which also impede upon the processes of the head, can really exacerbate a headache or a migraine. So the basics of that, when you sit down, just making sure that you're on those bones in your booty. They're called sit bones. You kind of take your hand, push right in there. That's your sit bone. We don't touch our butts very often, but that's a sit bone. And so what we do most of the time is that we sit and we crunch, and we close off the breath in the lungs. And so what you want to do is open that up. You're going to open up your tushy a little bit, ground down on those sit bones, and then from there you're going to lengthen the spine from the hips all the way up through the top of the head. So notice the differences in what the shoulders do. Now you may be already conformed a little bit forward. That's our posture in the United States, is kind of this. So what we're going to do is slowly just ground out those sit bones and maybe bring the shoulders back just a little bit. And then just noticing the differences between the front and the back of the body. So I'm just going to turn sideways so you can see the structure. And notice if my shoulders are here, what kind of happens in the middle of the back here, as well as the lungs and the belly. It's why we have so many digestive disorders in our society, is that we don't get enough energy into the belly. So what we're going to do is open up the sit bones here, roll the shoulders back. Now when we roll the shoulders back, then we feel as if we close off the shoulder blades. So we're going to leave the shoulder blades open just a smidge. And dropping the feet flat on the floor, about hip width distance apart. And you'll hear that a lot in the relaxation and breathing portions of the program, is four corners of the feet. You're going to acknowledge that the outside of the big toe, outside the pinky toe, and either side of the heel is going down into the floor equally. And you might notice even when you walk that one foot is turned out, one side or the other. So we want to align that in the center. That'll allow the body to be in balance through the knees, the hips, the belly, the shoulders, all the way up through the spine. So if one's torqued, then the body kind of has to compensate in that regard. So we're going to bring the shoulders all the way back, bring the back of the heart forward, and then lift the ribs up away from the hips. So we're going to see that one side isn't dipping or bowing in the front of the back of the body. Bring that all together and then drop the shoulders. So we're talking ideally here. In the beginning, it's not going to feel like that. It's going to feel kind of bunched up a little bit. But that's our goal, is to get that long length through the spine and then through the neck. That will open up any tension that you have through the shoulders, the sides of the neck, the back of the head, and the occiput, as well as any jaw pain and tension you might get from your headaches and migraines, all the way up into the temporal bones. So dropping the shoulders. So now that we've got our posture down in a sitting position, we'll go ahead and tune into the breath and see where the breath is. You're going to take one hand and place it on your belly button. And the other hand you're just going to take and place it right underneath your collarbones, where those notches are at the base of your throat. Drop the shoulders and just notice, without changing it, what hand moves when you breathe in and out. And just hang out there for a second. And you'll notice that it's the lower hand, the upper hand, or the combination of both. And just notice, like it's what's in the literature in the book, is that when we're born, we naturally breathe into our bellies. And then when we hit about 3, 4, 5 years old, around school age, we get stress, social anxiety. We bring the breath from the belly all the way up into the chest, and then we revert that. And the body gets into the constant sympathetic response, and we stay there most of our lives. About 85% of the population, 85-90% of the population breathes up in the chest, unless you're a singer, swimmer, you play an instrument, or you've been taught in yoga or what have you to breathe back into the belly. So we're just going to retrain the body to breathe back in the belly. It takes about 2 weeks. So with your breathing exercises, you're going to breathe into the belly in the morning with your relaxation exercises, and then again in the evening, and any time throughout the day when you're stressed, or especially if you have any headache conditions, you're going to make sure that you're breathing in the belly. So how to retrain your body to do this is that if you look at babies, they breathe in their bellies. That's how we want to breathe. Is when you breathe in, the belly goes out like a balloon. You're going to fill up the belly. When you breathe out, the belly goes backwards. So I'm going to go sideways here so you can see me. So my feet are flat on the floor. I'm filling my belly with breath on the inhale, and then pushing back, on the exhale. The belly button goes toward the spine. Now you might be reversed in the beginning. No worries if you are. We'll get back to retraining the body and just signaling, saying, hey, this is what we're going to start doing from here on out. Your body will remember pretty quick. So as you inhale, getting bigger. As you exhale, getting smaller. Now if it is reversed, just go ahead and physically push that out when you breathe in and release it back to the spine when you breathe out. It'll take some time, no worries. But that's breathing in the belly. And you'll be able to do that throughout the rest of the program. Cool?